All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we're going to go over how basically to get a job. So it's going to be a two-part thing. The first part, which is today, we're going to be looking at resumes, the do's and don'ts, and some little tips and things like that. So little things, facts that I researched and to kind of help you out, on what most employers, most people who look at resumes what they experience, what they basically admit that they do, what they look at, and things like that. And also, I'm going to give you some examples at the very end of what your resumes should look like and what they shouldn't look like. Um, Trust me, when you look at the bad ones, oh, it's too funny. And in next class, the next lesson is going to be the actual interviews. Because again, a lot of students I've had, not just this year, but also in previous years, have told me, God, Martinez, I don't know why I'm not being hired. What's the problem? I'm going for the interviews and I don't get the job. I don't understand what's the problem. Well, I typically tell them, when we get to this part, did you do any of these things? Did you, where did you mess up at? And a lot of them know, even though they tell me, oh, I did everything perfect. Really? Really? Let's let's see. Let's see what today one is the resume. Let's see if there's anything that you have done that you're like, oh yeah, that's probably why I didn't get the job. Or if you got it, like, oh, mm, I wonder if they missed that part. So the objective today, we're going to analyze how one should say and not say during like interview. Okay, that's next class. We're going to examine the difference between good and bad resumes. That's definitely today. And we're going to create an argument whether you should be completely honest on your resumes. Now, this is something that if I was in class, I would lead that discussion because this is a legitimate thing that people ask themselves. Should I not legitimately lie, say like I'm an astronaut, but like maybe if you barely know how to use PowerPoint to say, oh yeah, I'm very good with PowerPoint. Should you be able to say that? Should you not? Again, we're gonna look at that kind of stuff. But again, that's a discussion I would lead in class, but since I'm not there, we'll have to table that for a later time. All right, so here's your warm up picture. My question I'm asking you is what do you think this artist is trying to say about what to wear and not wear for a job interview? Okay, so look at this picture, analyze it, look what the person's wearing, look who's interviewing them, you know, and go from there. Okay, so think about it, pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. All right, so a resume. What in the world is it? Well, basically, it's a document created and used by a person to present their background, skills, and accomplishments to future employers. So, this is a way for them to meet you before they actually meet you. Okay, now here's some little fun facts that I researched. Um, Employers look at a resume on average for about 6 to 7 seconds. They basically look at it 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007. Okay, they just skim through your resume, and if it's good, more likely, hey, put it in this pile. If it stinks, over here. You know. Now, 35% of recruiters, when I was going through the internet, they were asked, "Well, what kind of stuff do you look at?" Like people were trying to um, get people to their to jobs, and basically what they said is when they look at the resume, they go to skills. Do what kind of skills do you have? What kind of skills apply for this job that I want to hire you for? And if there's no skills or the skills don't match, 35% of them say, "I just toss it. I don't even look at it." So, yeah, okay. Okay, so that's 35%. Skills don't match or there's no skills at all, gone. All right. So, here are some tips to help you get your resumes read. Now, this is something I thought was pretty interesting, but it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense that You'll get the best results if you send your resume between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. within the first 4 days of that job being posted. Okay. Now, I've had some students in the past ask me, well, why 6 through 10? And why not like 2, 3? Well, because here's the thing, a lot of jobs end at 4 or 5 o'clock. So think about yourself. You get on at 1:35, you right? At 1:20, where's your mindset at? Is it still focused on class and doing all this work and so on? Or is it like, okay, 15 more minutes and we're done? All right, 15 more minutes. Oh, okay. I could handle this for 15 more minutes. You're already thinking about what you're gonna do after class. Same thing with people at work. An hour before, half hour before work, they're like, I'm ready to go home. There people are tired. It happens. So if you send your resume and they say the company they're about to leave at like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and you send it at 3, chances are they're gonna be like, oh God, and then they want to look at if you're waiting till the last minute too, that doesn't sound good. Now, here's the thing though. This is something because a student asked me, I want to say it was last year. Well, what if you have to post the last minute? I'm like, well, here's the thing. Make sure on your resume where it says your last employment. Let's say you lost the job on Monday and you apply for this job on like Tuesday or Wednesday. That's good. Make sure you put that on there. That hey, I just lost my job. I quit that this day, and it's basically 2 days a day since I lost that job. That I'm applying for this job. That shows them, hey, this person is looking specifically for us, wants to work specifically for us, as opposed to, the last time you had a job was 5 months ago and they posted this job for the past 3 weeks and you're barely um, signing up. All right. So, yeah, they look at that kind of stuff. That tells them something like, hey, this person had so much time and they waited for us. They're looking for us. Either they're barely wanting to get this job to go back to work or, they're procrastinating. So, again, it looks bad. Another big one is using the right language. Using the right language helps you stand out. Don't be putting because with BCUZ. It's like, no, that's not how you spell it. So, use the right language, use the right terminology. Okay. Keep your resumes short and direct. They don't want to hear your life story. Okay. Because again, there's a lot of reading. They're going to be like, okay, wow, okay, no. Okay. Excuse me. Um, Check for errors. That's another really big one. See if there's any grammar errors, if there's any spelling errors, things like that. Spell check. It's a great friend to have. Okay. Use the right formatting, which we're going to be talking about later. Okay. Make sure that it looks good. It's not off disangled or it's just too little or too much. Okay. And be sure you include a summary and your contact information. The contact information, guys, when you put your email, make sure you don't put like one that's not appropriate. Don't put like Pimp Daddy Kane, this and that at gmail.com. No. Okay. If you want to keep that email, awesome. Do that. Keep it. That's yours. Okay. But don't use on a resume. You can get free emails, from Google and things like that. So make a professional one. Make it your name, your middle name, some appropriate numbers. Don't be putting stuff like 6 9 and this and that and the area code and no, don't be putting that stuff. You know, if you want, make it like if you're a sports person, put it your athlete's jersey number. You know, don't put your birthday. And that's another big one. Don't put your birthday. Okay. Um, so make sure your contact information is good and not raunchy. Okay. So, how to make your resume really stand out? Use clear, concise, and tailored language that's tailored for this job. Okay. So, if you're going for a job for computers, you don't want to be putting things down about, you know, working at McDonald's, the terminology used for welding. It's like, well, no, you're going for computers. Why are you talking about welding and things like that? You know, um, and your words that you use, they should not be just generic. You know, I'm good at typing. What do you want, a gold sticker? You know, so make sure that it's concise, it's clear, and it's for that job you're wanting. Okay. Now, highlight relevant skills and experience. Okay. Point out stuff you've done in other jobs that is going to be required you in this new job. So let's say you're working in a warehouse, right? You've obtained your forklift forklift operating license. Okay. If you're going to another job, that which they might ask you to operate a forklift, or that's within the realm of where you're gonna be working at, you might as well put that down. Just in case they're like, oh man, we don't have anyone to operate this forklift. Hey, I can do it. You know, and that basically is an asset to you, and that helps you look good. So just in case all these guys went out one night, got sick, things like that. Hey, we need somebody to operate a forklift. Hey, so and so can do it. It's on their resume. They have their license, so it just looks good on you. Okay. Um, Demonstrate results with numbers and metrics. What that means is sometimes you might get a job where they ask you how many words can you write a minute. How many can you type. You can take some courses at a community college, and you can get a little printout saying, hey, this person took this class. You know, they took this test, and they can write 72 words a minute. That's not bad. That's not really that bad at all. You know, and as I say, you're one of those guys selling, you know, solar panels or whatever. There's a thing called conversion rates. Like if you're calling these people and telling them, hey, you have this deal, it'd be great for you, la la, and they say yes, that's your conversion rate. So that tells them, hey, you can make sales on the phone, things like that. So that looks good on you, and those numbers help you. Now, if you just say, oh, I can convince people, well, your last call you worked at a place like that. What was your conversion rate? It was about three, three a day, three a month, three a week. What was it? So that's the type of statistics they're looking for. Again, tailor made for the job you're applying for. Okay. And again, thinking about beyond your work duty. So again, if you're working at a certain place and they say, hey, you're gonna be working at a warehouse, you're gonna be sorting or whatever, if there's forklift operators going on there, you may want to add that on there because again, you never know when they might be like, we need someone to operate this forklift. Well, I can do it because I did that. I have my license for that. Okay. Um, when it says focus on your achievements, yeah, guys, your actual achievements, good achievements, honor roll, things like that, especially if you're starting off. When you get later on in life, if you've been acknowledged by your bosses and your the factory or the company that hey, you've never missed a day this whole year, you went above and beyond doing such and such job, any type of recognition that you get from a job, put that on there. Employee of the month, things like that. Okay. Another big one, keywords. Make sure these keywords are relevant for the job you're applying for. Okay. But as you're going to see in the next slide, don't overdo it. Okay. So these are the don't do's on for your resumes. Okay. Number one thing, guys, please, 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 please do not put a photo of yourself. Unless you're an actor applying for a part, do not put a photo. If they really want to see you, they'll ask you for the interview. Okay? They'll call you in. They don't need to see how you look like. Okay? Um, as we talked about the accomplishments, yeah, that's great. Putting down you got honor roll, perfect attendance, things like that at school. Great. But when you're 28 years old, 32 years old, you should still not should have that on your resume. I got perfect attendance in high school. Whoop whoop. I got a gold star for drawing a rabbit in second grade. Good job. Awesome. Who cares about that? Okay? You don't have to put every single accomplishment, especially as you get older. Right now, while you're young, sure, put in that perfect attendance. Put in that I got the character counts. Put in that honor roll and all that good stuff. But when you get older, take that stuff off, guys. That's a big thing where a lot of people just add on to the resume and don't really look at it and going, I need to take that off. I need to rephrase these things. Okay. Um, this is another big one, guys, because people think, oh, I gotta fill in these empty spots. So they put these graphics and they embellish like their name, make it like with shadows and things like standing out and stuff like that. Guys, that doesn't look professional. It looks like something someone does when they're trying to find their dog. Okay, so avoid that. Just like I was saying about the blank spaces, it's okay to have blank spaces. Okay, now should it be like one word or one sentence, big old blank, and then another little sentence? No, but it's okay to have certain spaces around. Okay, and we'll get to that in a second, another part too. Okay, um, if you don't know how to start it, guys, there's templates. There's templates on Word document. There's templates online. Use them. Use them. Okay. But again, avoid the ones that have like graphics on there. Put picture here. No, that should be a red flag. You going, no, no, I shouldn't look at these because these, no, no, no. Mr. Martinez said don't put those. Okay. Another one, talked about the keyword from the last slide. Yeah, use keywords, but don't overuse them and don't go with the cliche things like team player. Okay, put it down once. Awesome. That's it. The go getter, quick learner. Okay, because if you put quick learner for every little thing, that tells them that you basically know nothing. Okay. Another big one that I have seen when I worked at Rite Aid um, was assisted. I assisted in this, I assisted in that, and this, and this. And they just keep putting I assisted. That basically tells them this. So you never took the lead on something. You were always the worker. You were not the one who was actually the one who said, this is my project, I'm going to lead it, things like that. You were the one helping out. Okay. Now, if you were, let's say your job was like an assistant, just put that assisted and then just put the different things. Okay. But don't putting assisted this, assisted that, assisted this, assisted this. Okay. Because that just looks horrible. I hate to say it because it sounds like the way I say it makes it sounds like I'm a jerk, but it's true, guys. Don't put your birth date on your resume. Nobody cares. Okay. If they want to ask you your birthday, they'll ask you during the interview. Same thing with your marital status. They don't want to know if you're single, dating, divorced. They don't care what your horoscope is. Okay? They're not going to date you. They don't want to know this stuff. Okay? So don't put don't put that stuff down. Same thing with children. Again, I hate to say it because it sounds like a jerk, but they don't care. I have 4 kids. Whoop whoop. Congratulations. They don't care. They want to know what you can do at the job. Okay? So please, please, please avoid putting that stuff down. All right. So here is, according to Career Builder, this is an article I read a couple years ago. They basically asked these employers, what are some things you found in bad resume? What do they usually have? And it went by percentages. Okay. So you can see what a majority of these people messed up on. Number one, bad grammar and typos. Okay. Again, using slang, guys, that's not going to work. Talk to your friends the way you do, text each other the way you do. But when you're applying for a job, make sure you're actually using correct English. So the way some of you guys write in your responses to me, no, cut it good. That's not going to work when you try to get a job. So some of those students I say who told me, "How come I just can't get a job? I apply everywhere." Well, is your resume? How is your writing on there? Because number one, if you write the way you talk, good God, that's probably why they tossed it out. Because you need to have proper English, speak properly, write properly. Okay. Here's another big one: the unprofessional email address. Putting Pimp Daddy Kane 22. No, that just looks horrible. Again, emails are free. Keep your Pimp Daddy one. Yeah, give that to your friends, your girlfriends, and all this stuff, or boyfriends or whatever. But but have a professional one. Have it your name, and then like I said, your favorite athlete's number. Um, don't put your area code. Don't put your birth date for numbers. You know, um, just put your your address number. I mean, something, but don't be putting your birthday and things like that because they can see that. Another big one: no qualifiable achievements on your resumes. So again, they're listing things like I was in honor roll in the fourth grade. I was the captain of my seventh grade basketball team. Great. What does that have to do with this job? This job you're applying for is to be a manager at a let's say a factory. What does that got to do with being a manager? Absolutely nothing. So why do you have it there? Next one: long paragraphs of text instead of bullet points. Okay, because guys, if they wanted to know so much about you, they'd invite you for an interview. Okay, so bullet points. You just want to build the interest. Want them to realize, like, oh, this person, you know, um, was a manager at this place for 5 years, and they had, let's say, 0 to 3%, waste in all those years. That's pretty good percentage, you know. So I want to talk to them, see how they did that. That's where they would want to talk to you, and that's where that paragraph would come in during the interviews, not during the resumes. Generic resumes are not tailored for the job. So again, your resume, if you're applying for McDonald's, should not be the same if you're applying for an office job. No, okay. And I know a lot of you guys like to play that fence, like to sit on the fence there and be like, oh well, yes and no to both things. No, you cannot do that with jobs, especially your resume. Your resume should not be just like it could fit for anything. No, it shouldn't. Okay, make sure it goes with the job you're trying to go for. This one I thought was interesting because I've never seen a resume past 2 pages, but apparently, yeah, some people have long resumes over 2 pages, and they don't want to see that. Okay. Also, another thing, guys, and this is the God's honest truth. I'm gonna tell you this right now, even though it's not on here. Um, it's not good when you have a whole list of jobs you had, and each one of them was only for like a month, 2 months, 3 months. That doesn't look good, guys. Now, unless the company itself went under that you had nothing to do with, the CEOs got greedy, they lost a bunch of money, things like that, and the company went under, that's something else. But if you basically put I quit, I quit, I quit, I resigned, that looks bad because that basically tells them, oh, for some you'll quit for whatever reason, and then now we're back at the same spot of having to find somebody. So basically, you're just going to be here if you want to be. We need somebody who truly wants to be here, and not just, oh well, if I like the environment or if I get what I want, then I'll stay. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to see that. And that's a big red flag they see on resumes. Okay. This last one isn't a big thing, but some places are. So again, depends on the professional level that you're applying for. A cover letter. Again, if you're applying for like McDonald's, chances are they don't want a cover letter. They could care less. But if you're going for an office job, a manager, things like that, supervisor, yeah, you want to have a cover letter. Okay. And this is another one too that I didn't put on your notes, but I want you to read that at the bottom. Some places will look up your social media pages. They will put your name and look you up. Okay. So be sure you don't have any damaging pictures, images, posts. You know, let's say you're trying to get a job being security, and then you on your post, one of your posts, you put like F the police and this and that. That doesn't look good on you. Okay. Putting pictures of you partying and this and that on like a Sunday at like 10 a.m. or 10 a.m., 10 p.m. That basically shows them, hey, this person doesn't either have a job at this time or they do have a job and they're going to show up probably with a hangover. So, again, guys, look through your social media site. And I know some people are like, well, I have it on block. Again, there's ways around it. You know, there's ways around it where you can search somebody up and see images and things like that. They do the same thing. Okay. All right. So here are two examples of good resumes. Now, the one to your right, that is an example one. The one to your left, the one that says Desire Garrison, that one's a legitimate uh, resume. Sorry, took me just had a brain fart right now. And look at the way they structured everything where they work experience. Boom, here's this place, this place, this place, this place. Okay. This is where education, this is some of my degrees are from this time to this time. Here's my skills and tools and database and language and see how they basically label everything so you can see what they can do with and this person specifically with computer science. Okay. Um, and you see like soft skills. These are skills that everyone basically should have, you know, but what they feel is distinguished again because again it applies for this type of job. So communication, that's big for computer people. They need to be able to communicate with one another through email or voice or through stuff like Zoom and things like that. Um, Problem solving, self management, that's a big one. Okay, because again, that type of job, you need to be able to troubleshoot and be able to solve problems at a drop of a dime. And that's what you're saying. And I can manage myself, meaning I can, if there's a problem, if there's a deadline, I can do it. I don't need somebody on my shoulder telling me, get this done. I will get it done. Okay. They put some volunteer stuff. Again, here's a little bit about me. This is what I do in my spare time. Again, you don't see on there drinking and things like that, but instead it's relevant to their job. Coding games with Java. Again, computer scientists, that applies to their job. Python and electronics with Minecraft. Okay, so that tells you they're still with computers, they're still doing things with gaming and stuff like that. Teen coding with Python. So they're helping kids, they're volunteering their time, you know. So again, it's a little bit about them, but again, how that applies to the job that they're going for, which is computer science. Now let's look at some bad ones. So these make me laugh every time I see them. Right. So let's look at this guy, Ham Dugo. Now look at the very top, that little graphic. Customer, then goes a Dugo equals sales. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. Let's look at his little profile. It says more than 10 years experience in retail environments, recognized for my ability to close deals, provide excellent customer service, and generate cold hard cash. Hire me to boost your company and get the job done. Um, and if you look at his email, the ham man doesn't sound good. Hobbies, jiu-jitsu and philosophy. And then he puts a little graphic of coins getting bigger. That just looks horrible, guys. Um, President of Jiu-Jitsu education. Who cares if he does jiu-jitsu? It's a hobby. Awesome. Why are you putting as your education? You know. So his work experience: Walmart sales associate. Help like guys. Again, he's writing down like how he would talk. Oh, I help like 50 people a day, by answering questions and helping them find products. Okay, that's how you would talk to somebody. You don't put down your resume, you know. Roughly close roughly $500 in sales every week. Really? Because when I go to Walmart, I don't go by what this person's saying. Hell, sometimes I don't even talk to anybody there. I just go get my stuff and. So for this guy to say, "Oh, I get this company at least $500 a day or every week," no, okay, and also $500 a week. It's honestly not that much, okay. Uh, so if you look at the bottom, this is the other part, the skills. Look at that. MS Microsoft Office. His skill level is about 35%, so not that great. Italian language, 50%. Why even put that down? Why even put that down? If you're nowhere near being fluent or close to being fluent, take that off. Keeping it cool, 100%. God, guys. Sales, customer service. Look at this other person over here, Rusty Rose. Look at them. Look at their about me. Many many may assume the resume belongs to a crazy person, but I value genuine expression and honesty over blindly following the crowd. Whether I get a small chuckle or solve much bigger problems, I'm inspired by making positive impact in the world in all areas of my own life. Look below that. I'm the best in the world at reading comprehension, financial modeling, web graphic designs, blogging skills, ends the word skills with a Z, social media, chivalry. You know what chivalry means? This means like when you open the door for somebody, you know, making sure that a girl doesn't walk on the close to the road type of thing. That's chivalry. He's saying he's the best in the world at that. Okay. Um, if you look at the education, graduated cum laude in 3 years with a 3.8. Guys, you cannot graduate from a university cum laude with a 3.8. Those guys have like a 4.3, 4.4% or a GPA, not a 3.8. Okay. Cum laude, if they did that, then that says very little about their graduating class. Okay. Um, so if you keep going down, 2009, look at the bottom one. Almost tricked into marriage. Who cares? Oh my god. Oh my god. So this is just horrible. Let me move this camera thing so you can read the bottom ones too. Um oh my god. So again, these are example of horrible resumes. Okay. Now, why am I really spending so much time on this? Because this is your question at the end. I want you to go through both of these resumes. Okay, so these two, go through both of them. Go through your notes and find, which won't be hard, find three mistakes that these guys have made. Okay, so go back to your notes, look at the things you should not do, and point out those three things. Okay, what mistakes did these guys make? Okay, so again, you're gonna have to go back to here. I would pause it if I were you, and then go through your notes and find those three mistakes. Again, if you find all three mistakes on Ham, awesome. If you find all three on Rusty, awesome. If you find two on one and one on the other, that's fine. Okay, but you got to find three mistakes, which again should not be hard. So be sure you pinpoint exactly. Don't put like, oh, he said this. Okay, so is that how's that bad? Because you're not supposed to be saying a lot. So again, This is going back to how you're writing, guys. You need to be specific. You need to be clear. So try it with this warm-up question. Okay. So once you're done with this question, you're done with this lesson, right? So hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you can now look at your resume and say, okay, I get why I'm not getting hired, or I can see mistakes in my own resume and fix them up, guys. You can always fix them up and do better. Okay, always. Even myself, I can take my resume and make it better. Okay, so Um, with that being said, you guys, you take care, you be safe. You guys should be getting a interview papers today. So what I want you to do is go through that paper first, read through it, because these are questions like I told you guys in class before I left, from my friends who have businesses, who are managers at stores and in other businesses, and they tell me this is the questions I ask when I'm giving an interview. And so I made a big old list of it. So I want you to read through it, and then I want you guys to partner up and ask each other, hey, okay, so what's your biggest strength? What's your biggest weakness? Align, exchange, go back and forth, and listen to the other person and see, oh, that was a good answer, or no, that was a horrible answer, you know, and think to yourself, what's the best way to say this after knowing what you know about resumes? Okay. So be sure you put your name on it because you're going to need it next week. Okay. So, with that being said and done, guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.